One sweet, melty bite of a Hershey's bar, and suddenly I'm right back sitting on the front porch with my grandmother on a slow summer afternoon. She doesn't say much, just breaks the bar in half and hands me a piece. I open my mouth to say whatever a 9-year-old wants to say, and she replies with a low, shh, listen. So we sat there, listening. That was the first time I learned that quiet can feel full.
Hershey's, it's your happy place.
Picture this. It's the end of a long week. You're unwinding in the tub, listening to your favorite true crime podcast. And then chronic hives come back. Again. In the middle of the episode. What a wet blanket. Looks like another spell of itchy, swollen, red, or skin-colored hives. If you have chronic spontaneous urticaria or CSU, there may be a different treatment option. Worried about your chronic hives interrupting our next episode? Learn more at treatmyhives.com/garage. Welcome to True Crime Garage. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Nick, and with me, as always, is a man who, of course, he is not cheering for busted brackets and broken dreams. He is the captain.
Busted Brackets was my nickname in high school. It's good to be seen and good to see you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend.
Today, we are cheerfully drinking Knockout, which is an IPA from Fat Bottom Brewing Company in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. Brewed with Bravo, Cascade, and Pacific Jade hops, then dry hopped with Bravo, Pacific Jade, and Comet hops, this IPA definitely packs a 1-2 punch. The grapefruit and citrus aroma softens the blow ever so slightly. ABV 6.2%, garage grade 4 out of 5 bottle caps. And here's some good garage friends that pack a punch. First up, a cheers to Mike Schaefer from Atlanta.
And a big we like your chip goes out to Jennifer G. in Houston, Texas.
Here's a chilly cheers to Liz from Duluth, Minnesota.
And a big tall cans in there goes out to Karen in Minneapolis. And also a shout out to The Bad Plus.
And here's a triple cheers, Captain, to Ginger Dancy, Market Research Dan, and Bertha in Lina. Everyone we just mentioned went to truecrimegarage.com and contributed to this week's beer fund, which filled up the old garage fridge. And for that, we thank you.
Yeah, BWRUN Beer Run for everything true crime. Check out truecrimegarage.com. While you're there, sign up on the mailing list. And Colonel, that's enough of the BS.
All right, everybody, gather around, grab a chair, grab a beer. Let's talk some true crime. This week's true crime story is about a cold case and a family that refuses to quit. I filed this one in the garage under the title of The Wix Girls. But this case is about a woman and her little girl, a missing mother and daughter, a duo lost to violence and time. Jennifer and Adrianna Wix have been missing for over 20 years, and their case remains open, a mystery. One of the more haunting details of this case is a phone call prior to the two going missing. On the call, Kathy, Jennifer's mother, and Adriana's grandmother, listens to her daughter's voice and tries to hold on to every syllable, every breath between words. In the background, a baby cries, loud, urgent, alive, filling the space behind the conversation, like a warning no one yet understands. The daughter speaks with the casual certainty of someone who believes she will be home soon, that this moment is ordinary, that the future is guaranteed. She ends the call the way families often do, with love as punctuation. Those are the last words that Kathy hears from Jennifer. The last words to a mother from her daughter, with her baby crying in the background. This is the case of Jennifer and Adrianna Wix, and this is True Crime Garage. Jennifer Wix was born on August 16th, 1982. People who knew her best describe her as quiet and strong-willed, the kind of person who wasn't loud in a room but still somehow anchored it. She was artsy, drawn to nature, and carried herself with a steady maternal seriousness that didn't match how young she still was. That seriousness had a name, Adriana, Jennifer's daughter, who was born on January 14th, 2002. Now, from the start, Adriana was not simply part of Jennifer's life, she was the center of it. Jennifer arranged her world around her child, doing the ordinary, devoted things that build a childhood, taking her daughter places, keeping her close, making sure she was cared for, even when Jennifer herself had very little. Jennifer didn't have much materially. She had no car, no phone, no bank account of her own for much of this period. But to her family, none of that defined her. What defined her was the way that she poured herself into being Adriana's mother. We're going to go to 2003 here, Captain. We have Jennifer Wix. She's living in Robertson County, Tennessee, sharing a home with her aunt and her cousin, Jeffrey. Jennifer is the oldest of three girls in her immediate household, but she was also part of a larger blended family. So there's 6 sisters, as I understand it, in total across both sides. She stayed close to family in a way that was practical and emotional. They helped one another. They stayed in touch often. Jennifer rarely went long periods of time without speaking to someone in the family. In fact, it was said she wouldn't speak with her parents each and every day. She wouldn't speak with her sisters each and every day, or her aunt or cousin, but she would always speak to somebody in the family with what seemed like each and every day. That same year, 2003, brought a major shift for the family. So we have Jennifer's mother, Kathy Nail, and Jennifer's sister. Some of the sisters moved to Henderson, Nevada. This is just outside of Las Vegas. Jennifer was living with her aunt and her cousin, Jeffrey, as we said. It was during the fall of 2003 that Jeffrey, her cousin, introduced Jennifer to a very close friend of his, and this friend is named Joey Benton. Joseph William Benton, I believe, is the full name here. But for the purpose of our true crime story today, Captain, Joey Benton. Now, Jennifer and Joey began dating. In the early days of this courtship, the relationship appeared promising. Jennifer and Adriana soon started spending a lot of time at Joey's family's property. which is described as a large compound in the Owens Chapel community of Cross Plains, also located in Robertson County, Tennessee.
Is this like a big barn, or is it just like one of those multifamily compounds?
I think both are right. The structure that they would live in at some point is described somewhat like a barn. So the Benton family property is a place described more as a spread out family, air quotes, compound, rather than a single family home. So we have multiple relatives of this Benton family living on nearby acreage. Now, I did have a hard time, Captain, nailing down exactly just how large this property is. The biggest number that I did come across, so however, was 81 acres. Now, it gets complicated. That's a lot of land. A lot of land. It gets complicated here.
Long time mowing.
The complication comes in when we have multiple families. Lots of Benton family occupying this land. So each of them have portions of it with their own houses and yards and such, but it was difficult to sort out if it was 81 acres plus the additional properties, or if it was 81 acres that is all encompassing of all of the family's properties.
Either way, it's a shit ton of land.
There you go. That we'll put that in the realtor write-up for the sale.
Yeah.
Seeking shit ton of land. Here you go.
Here you go.
To an outsider, it may have looked like Jennifer was settling into a new chapter of her life, right? One where she and Adriana were increasingly absorbed into Joey's world. She's spending more time there than she is with her own family. We have the family that's split, right? We have her dad on one side with some sisters there. We have Jennifer's mother and some of the family now living in Nevada at this time. It's during this time that Jennifer's life back in Tennessee is tilted towards something very dangerous. So this is roughly just like 2 months into this relationship.
Right.
When Jennifer experienced an incident that deeply frightened her, and it should. Jennifer's family, now in Henderson, Nevada, said that Jennifer called her mother in an emotional state that can only be described as hysterical. The reason for her call was not vague at all. It was specific, and it was terrifying. Jennifer reported an argument that took place in which Joey pulled a firearm, pulled a gun out and threatened to shoot Jennifer, threatened to shoot Adriana, and threatened to shoot himself.
Oh, great. So he's a giant piece of shit.
Jennifer did not stay to see if this threat is going to become a reality. She fled with her daughter, and the relationship ended.
Yeah, but the problem is when you're threatened like that with a gun to your head and the person saying, hey, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your daughter, I'm going to kill myself. Even when you leave the situation and you leave immediate contact with that individual, the threat is then ongoing.
Oh, absolutely. And this is going to be this is a huge marker on our timeline for many reasons, but one that as we are looking back, as we are checking out the rear view mirror here, when looking back on this is the kind of threat, the kind of incident that changes a family's internal calendar, if you will, right? Everything for the family will become before and after this event.
Right.
Oh, that took place before the gun incident. Oh, that took place after the death threat. So Kathy, Jennifer's mother, and the family moved back to Tennessee with the quickness. It was like within 1 or 2 weeks of this phone call. So as quickly as they could get back, they made their way back to Tennessee to protect Jennifer and Adriana.
This threat is going to scare you to death, but you want to protect your child, but also your grandchild.
The move back happened after they had been away for roughly just like 8 to 9 months. There was a little bit, it kind of came at a convenient time. Forgive me for using that word, considering the event we just discussed. But
yeah, but think about it. If you're going to if you had to choose between Las Vegas and Tennessee, I'm picking Tennessee.
Well, and what I mean by that is it worked out for the family that they were able to return so quickly because they were able to return and have a place to live. So Kathy's mother, this would be Jennifer's grandmother. It sounds like she had a larger home and she was like, yes, come and stay here. I understand you guys got to move back very quickly. Come and stay here. And we can have Jennifer and Adriana come and live at the home as well. So Jennifer and Adriana, they settle into a space that almost functioned like a separate apartment. It was a walkout basement. I love a walkout basement. It was a walkout basement that had 2 bedrooms down there, a bathroom and a living area. So very much like its own little apartment. You could come and go without having to enter the main level of
residence.
The home.
Yeah.
So the living arrangement created a measure of safety. And of course, then you get that closeness with the family being back, and the family could pull Jennifer and Adriana back toward something steadier, something safer, living together with family. Now, for a moment, the family felt the relief of having Jennifer and Adriana back in this safe place under their roof with a boundary between Jennifer and Joey, a wall, a barrier between the two.
Sometimes these pieces of shit will be threatening towards their partner, but won't be threatening towards their partner in a public atmosphere.
Jennifer and Joey broke up, but unfortunately, my friends, that breakup didn't hold. And over time, Joey drew her back in. Jennifer and Joey started talking again. The family didn't want it, of course, especially not after the gun threat, not after what it took to bring Jennifer and Adriana back home. But part of the issue becomes Jennifer was 21. She's an adult. She's making her own decisions.
Not good decisions, but she's making her own decisions.
Yeah, for me here, look, and I'm not trying to come at Jennifer. Her situation was complicated, but for me, peace out. Smell you later. Like it's over. It is over.
But the problem is when you're young and somebody's probably apologetic for the shitty actions, but also she's in a situation where she's the sole provider for her child. And we don't teach enough in school systems or even in the family dynamics to self-worth and self-care. We just don't talk about that enough, especially in the teenage years and the early 20 years.
Well, not only is Jennifer young at this point in our timeline, 21, but Joey's younger than she is. And I can speak from personal experience. Dudes in their 18 to like 20 years of age, most of us idiots. And I don't think Joey was any exception to that statement there. And Jennifer's making her own decisions. And eventually, unfortunately, she chose to go back. So this relationship resumed.
Yeah.
Now, there was a day in late 2003 that will stay burned into the family's memory because what once was like this threat that they heard about, this is now becomes more physical, more tangible. So this is in December of 2003 when an alarming event erupted at Kathy's home where Jennifer was staying with her daughter. So Joey reportedly kicked in a door there, and Jennifer's sister Casey called the police as a result. So this is how pretty much how this went down, or at least the short of it here, Captain. So Jennifer and Joey came to the family home to pack Jennifer and Adriana's things, to pack up some of their things. Now, at that time, Jennifer's plan was to return to Joey's living setup and start staying there, okay, with her daughter. And we already know what took place when she was staying there a lot prior. But also on top of that, what Jennifer's family will say is that this living setup wasn't a conventional home. So they were going to be staying in a partially finished shed or barn-like structure, like you had referenced earlier, described as a storage building type of structure that had been roughly remodeled. Like it was in the process of outfitting this barn or storage building into being like a living quarters. It had electricity and carpet, but it didn't have any running water. It had no air conditioning, and it was not winterized. And of course,
doesn't seem like a place I would want to stay.
Right. December 2003, cold weather is a coming, my friend.
Yeah.
So the family, they're trying to advise her not to go there for many reasons, don't live there. And then at some point it changes from trying to advise her, talk her into it to, you know what, let's just stop. Let's just stop her from leaving. Right. And at that point, Joey steps outside. The family, somebody in the family shut or slammed the door behind him, and he responded by kicking the door down, like knocking it straight off the hinges. Inside the home, we got the little kid, Adriana, the little baby, she crying. Now, in this chaos, police are called. By the time officers arrived at the scene, Jennifer and Joey were gone. They left without Adriana at first. They later returned for her. And the way that I understand this here, Captain, legally, or as far as the law is concerned, because Joey had left the property, Jennifer was gone as well. I don't think anything was pursued beyond that of other than a police report being filed regarding the incident.
Yeah, this is a situation where you'd love to light the guy on fire and put him out with a shovel just to teach him a little bit of a lesson.
Of course, after this incident, Joey was no longer permitted to be at Kathy's home, no longer allowed to step foot into the home or onto the property, and Jennifer took Adriana and moved away from her mother once again, this time into a large, that partially finished barn-like structure that we described, located on the Benton family property.
Okay, so let me just get this correct. The family is trying to stop her from moving, so that pisses Joey off. He causes a scene, but she still goes and moves in with him.
Yes. Well, her intent was to start staying at his place more, maybe even move in there. And it was her family trying to prevent her from doing this that upset Joey. You know, hey, you're getting in the way of our relationship here.
Right.
So I think she had already planned to leave, but him kicking down the door and getting violent in front of her family didn't change that.
Yeah, because she probably viewed it as, well, if my family would have just minded their own business, then he never would have acted this way. And again, you got to have some self-love and self-care and self-worth to see that that's not actions or behaviors that you want to be around, let alone to have your child be around.
And guess what, honey? You are my business. So Jennifer, in reaction to this situation, clearly upset with her family, she stopped speaking with her immediate household. And because her family's kind of spread out, she's still in contact with some family, but not in contact. She breaks contact with the family members she was living with, right? Her mother and sisters. So this break in communication, or her stop speaking with the immediate household, this took place for roughly a month and a half. And during that time, she still had contact with other relatives, an aunt, one of her grandparents or grandparents that lived nearby, and her father's side of the family. And through those conversations.
But this is what these abusive types do. Whether it's physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, they like to separate basically their victim, their continuous victim, from family members, especially family members that don't approve of the relationship. The family members, they're not able to pull the wool over their eyes, to pull the con job on them.
Through those conversations that she's having with the family she's staying in contact with, the family learned details that really intensified their concerns. The barn where they were living, as they were told, functioned as kind of a party spot for Joey and his friends, with drinking and drugs present at these gatherings. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I can think of so many great women and ladies who have had a deep and wonderful impact on my life. Women deserve to be celebrated, but we should also recognize that many women carry emotional weight at work, in relationships, in families, and the roles that they play for others. Whatever you're navigating, career expectations, parenting, caregiving, or more, therapy with BetterHelp can help you check in with yourself, unpack what's feeling heavy, and build healthier pathways forward. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform and handles the initial therapist matching work for you. Just take a short questionnaire to share your needs and preferences. And thanks to BetterHelp's industry-leading match fulfillment rate, they usually get your match right the first time. You can also feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/garage. That's betterhelp.com/garage. This is the time when kids benefit from reviewing key concepts and strengthening skills before assessments. IXL helps reinforce what they're learning right now so they feel ready and capable. IXL is an award-winning online learning platform for pre-K through 12th grade with personalized interactive lessons in math, reading, writing, and science that adapt to each child's level and pace. Proven in all 50 states to improve grades, students who use IXL score higher on tests. IXL is used in 96 of the top 100 school districts in the U.S. I have friends, I have family who use and love IXL. Why? Because they see the positive impact that it is making on their children's learning experience and their education. It's about catching up for some kids. It's about getting ahead for other kids. I get it. It's difficult as parents to strengthen the areas that challenge our children. And that's what IXL can do for you. It gets you organized and it gets you progress for your children and their learning experience. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And True Crime Garage listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/garage. Visit IXL.com/garage to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. So many people are focused on where their money is today. Acorns is the financial wellness app that cares about where your money is going tomorrow. And with the Acorns potential screen, you can find out what your money is capable of. Acorns is easy. You can sign up in minutes and start automatically investing your spare money, even if all you've got is spare change. Sign up now, and Acorns will boost your new account with a $5 bonus investment. Join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $27 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/garage or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 2 compensation provided. Potential subject to various factors such as customers' accounts, age, and investment settings. Does not include Acorns fees. Results do not predict or represent the performance of any Acorns portfolio. Investment results will vary. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/garage. A thoughtfully built wardrobe comes down to pieces that mix well and last. That's where Quince shines. Premium fabrics and awesome designs and everyday essentials that feel effortless to wear and dependable, even as the seasons change. Quince has the everyday essentials you'll love with quality that lasts. Lightweight cashmere sweaters, short sleeve Mongolian cashmere polos, linen bottoms, and shorts. These are the versatile pieces that make a wardrobe actually work season to season. Describe Quince, I have to say it's fantabulous. That's right. I had to invent a word to describe how great Quince is because modern words do not exist to explain just how fantastic and wonderful Quince is. It's become my go-to to fill my closet and my wardrobe. One of my favorite purchases ever from Quince was the Cotton Peak knit overshirt. I love this so much. I got it in multiple colors, and just like everything that I get from Quince, when it arrives, it fits perfectly. It looks great. And this is high quality design and well-crafted pieces that you are going to love and have the ability to wear for a very, very long time. You will enjoy it immensely, my friends. Right now, go to quince.com/garage for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's a full year to wear it and love it, and you will. Now available in Canada, too. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Go to QUINCE.com/garage for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/garage.
All right, we are back to the windows, to the walls. Cheers to all cans in the air.
Cheers to everyone out there in listener land. Thank you for joining us in the garage once again. So we get to about early 2004 here, Captain, in our timeline. All right. This is when contact resumes between Jennifer and some of her family members. So she began speaking with her mother and siblings again around February 22nd. And that date stands out and is memorable, easily remembered by family, because that date mattered because it was Jennifer's little sister's birthday. Her name is Casey, and her mother, Kathy's birthday. They shared this day as their birthday, and it became a marker of Jennifer, quote, coming back around. There was pain threaded through even that reconnection, though. Adriana's birthday is in January. And during that period of estrangement, the family wasn't invited to the birthday party. Later, seeing pictures of Adriana celebrating at Joey's family home with Joey's family, this, of course, very much hurt Jennifer's family.
Yeah, it'd be upsetting.
Now, as contact resumed, Jennifer would bring Adriana to visit Jennifer's sisters at work. Both were working at a McDonald's in a nearby town. So Jennifer brought Adriana to the play place. Remember, the McDonald's would have the big play place at some of the locations. And she would bring the little girl to play there, and also a nice excuse to visit with her aunts. And on the surface at this time, things look like ordinary family moments are returning. But the control, like you pointed out, the control was still there. Joey was always kind of present. Like, Jennifer just didn't arrive alone. Like, he would either be with her, or like when she called her family, Joey could be heard in the background almost policing the call, accusing Jennifer of using up his minutes and telling her, hey, you got to get off the phone. You got to get off the phone. You're using up my minutes. Now, keep in mind, 2004, we're going to have some young listeners out there that don't know what we're talking about with minutes, but there was many years ago, before unlimited plans existed, there was a real struggle going on with keeping your minutes low.
Yeah.
The cost of texting. I remember having friends that would have to take on a second job because they got some crazy cell phone bill because they would just text all night long or use up all their minutes and get hit with fines and $250, $350 cell phone bills for 1 month's time.
I had to sell a bunch of pictures of my feet online one time because I racked up so many text message bills.
Well, in part of this control too, or Joey always being there, it's sort of easy too to maintain that control because Jennifer didn't have her own vehicle. She didn't have her own vehicle when she met Joey. And this matters. This mattered. If she wanted to leave, she required someone else to drive her.
Yeah. And question, did she have her license? Because obviously if he had a vehicle, then he could lend her the vehicle. But if she doesn't have her license, then he's kind of forced to be there. But like you said, I think the monitoring of the calls and him always being there is also to monitor what are they saying to you and what are you saying to them? Because this abuse probably did not stop, right? So now that he has her living in this house and she's dependent on him, the abuse, physical, mental, verbal abuse probably continues. But now you get a monitor if she's telling her family good things about you or bad things about you.
So Joey would bring Jennifer to Kathy's home, to her mom's home, and drop her off. Remember, he's still not allowed at the house. Jennifer's family remained uneasy about the Joey situation. Jennifer reportedly told them about the barn parties, the presence of weapons in the Benton home, and of course, Joey's temper.
Right. But at some point, if you're the family and you're like, we told you not to go live with him. We told you to not be with him after he threatened you. At some point, everybody has somebody in their life, with whether it's a family member or a friend, that gets into a situation that you warned them about. And then as they're complaining about the situation, it's like, you don't even know what to say at that point because you didn't listen to me on the last 20 things I told you to do. So at some point you just kind of go, okay, well, that's the situation.
Cold weather came and cold weather pushed Jennifer and Joey out of that barn-like structure. Again, the structure wasn't winterized. So at some point in February of 2004, Jennifer, Joey, and little Adriana were living in Joey's parents' small 3-bedroom brick ranch house with his parents, Cindy and Joe Benton. We're all under one roof with limited space. Tensions escalated. According to Jennifer's family, the conflict between Jennifer and Joey's mother, there was conflict between Jennifer and Joey's mother. It was especially volatile. They say fueled by a closeness between Joey and his mother that others perceived as intense. Whatever the exact emotional label, jealousy, hostility, control,
right.
The outcome, the result is the same here. The house felt unstable to folks on the outside. And then in March of 2004, Adriana, the little 2-year-old girl caught in the middle of all of this BS and nonsense, she became sick. Jennifer called her mother late at night around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or so. This would be either on March 20th or March 21st, 2004. And so the call comes in. Adriana is in pain when urinating, and she's crying each and every time that she's trying to use the restroom. So something's wrong with the little girl. Jennifer says that she had asked Joey and his family to take them to the emergency room, but there's conflicting reports here. Some reports say that the family refused. Other reports say that the family convinced her that it was not necessary. So the way I understand it here, Captain, is Joey's mother worked in the medical field in some capacity. Some reports say that she was a nurse. So his family is saying the ER visit isn't necessary and dismissed the need for the ER visit. Jennifer called her aunt, who's living less than 5 minutes away at this time, and the aunt shows up driving Jennifer and Adriana to the ER. Now, this is going to be a full-on overnight visit to the emergency room, and there are going to be tests conducted, tests that are run, results that they're waiting on. A nurse, after getting the results, led them to believe that Adriana had some type of vaginal infection, noting that it was not common for a 2-year-old. Jennifer and Adriana were sent home without medication, but they were told that they needed to go to their regular doctor, right? To go follow up with Adriana's pediatrician.
Right.
So on the following day, Adriana's grandmother took her to the pediatrician. The pediatrician confirmed the infection and again noted that it wasn't common at that age, though said that it could have been caused by something as simple as being left in a diaper for too long.
Yeah, neglect.
Then we go to March 23rd, the last time Kathy sees Jennifer and Adriana. On March 23rd, 2004, Kathy saw Jennifer and Adriana in person. They had been to the doctor for that infection. It should have been a forgettable errand, right? Like an ordinary day other than the doctor's visit, but it became the last confirmed time Jennifer and Adriana were physically seen by her family. On March 24th, Jennifer called Kathy, her mother, from Joey's parents' house. This is a tough call. She's distressed. Jennifer is distressed. She was arguing with Joey. She wasn't getting along with Joey's mom.
Right.
Kathy said she could hear yelling in the background. She could hear Adriana, the little girl, crying in the background. The sound of the call was the sound of a home in turmoil. Kathy tried to give practical advice in the middle of all of this chaos, saying, go get Adriana, bring her into the room, get her away from the noise, from the yelling. Jennifer did that. Kathy offered to come and pick them up. Jennifer refuses. She told Kathy not to, do not come over here. She said, we're going to stick it out, I believe is her exact words, quote, stick it out. And she promised that they would talk the next day. Well, the next day is March 25th, 2004. This is the last confirmed conversations. Confirmed being the very important word here, Captain. So Jennifer spoke with her father, Michael, at approximately 11 a.m. that day. Michael says that they spoke for about 2 hours, which just about everybody in Jennifer's family describes as unusual, right, saying Jennifer did not typically stay on the phone with her father for that long. 2 hours is a long call. Jennifer told her father that she was upset. She said she wasn't getting along with Joey's mother and that Joey's mother scared her. Jennifer said Joey was at work in Franklin, Kentucky, which we know where our story takes place in Tennessee, but Franklin, Kentucky is not terribly far away. She says Joey's at work in Franklin, Kentucky, but he's on his way home. And Jennifer told her father that they were going to go on a picnic to talk about the situation and see if they could work it out.
Right. The problem here is we have evidence. You're threatening your partner with a gun. You're threatening to kill her daughter. You're physically abusive. You're mentally abusive. You're verbally abusive. So there's tons of evidence that you're a piece of shit. Well, the piece of shit doesn't fall too far from the piece of shit tree. And that would be his mother. And so then this is just a bad situation overall.
Jennifer also said something that would later haunt the family. She said she was looking forward to seeing her dad in Manchester the coming Sunday. Now, I've seen that statement several times. I'm a little uncertain I mean, we know what's about to take place. We know what does take place in our timeline here. I'm not seeing the writing on the wall of exactly why this was so haunting, other than maybe it might have been the last thing that she said to somebody that she was very close with. There was also an additional family claim that Jennifer spoke with an aunt on March 25th, 2004. So the same day. I'm guessing this would have been later in the day. The aunt says that she agreed to leave a key out. I'm going to hide a key somewhere, leave a key, stored key somewhere, so that if you needed to come by, Jennifer, if you and Adriana want to come here and maybe stay here or drop by, you can let yourself in. We need to be absolutely clear here that that call has never been verified. It's the aunt says that the call took place, but Jennifer's immediate family later stated that they could not confirm this call ever took place, and they're saying that they're basing their question mark of this call through law enforcement records that they've reviewed.
Right. Bizarre.
So after Thursday, March 25th, 2004, Jennifer and Adriana vanished. Poof, gone. Now, before we get into further details here, let's start off by stating both the obvious and maybe some of the not so obvious here, right? With the two gone, I want to right away. Can we squash the idea right away that Jennifer chose to leave on her own accord? I mean, that's always
doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a possibility in a lot of these stories. And we can't say 1,000% that that's the case here, but it would seem like very close to that. I mean, taking her 2-year-old daughter, Adriana, a little toddler, with her and hitting the road to start a new life somewhere else just doesn't ring true here, right? No car, no money. And then maybe the resources. No resources, no provisions. And maybe the less obvious here is it's a little sick kid. The sickness mattered. It matters for more than one reason, for medical reasons. It makes the idea of Jennifer voluntarily traveling or disappearing even less believable. Because to the people that knew Jennifer best, they have said now for 20 plus years, Jennifer was not the type of mother to casually leave town with a sick kid with no supplies.
Yeah, but she makes some bad decisions. So
agreed.
That becomes difficult. But like you said, unless we have evidence of her communicating with somebody that's going to help her or drive her away, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because every time there's conflict, she is still reaching out to family members. Like you said, the 2-hour-long phone call with her father, that kind of seems important to me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And the family says exactly the same thing. And then to circle back to what you said, she makes poor decisions. True. I won't fight you on that. She does. The person she's closest with, Joey, he makes bad actions. He makes terrible, horrible, frightening actions. And like you said, piece of shit acorn doesn't fall too far from that POS tree.
Right.
I'm very curious about what actions went on with some of Joey's family members.
Well, yeah. And we do know that Joey was, again, like you said, he wasn't like a million miles away or anything, but he's gone for a time period and there's still conflict. Mm-hmm. So there's possibility that, she's missing. Well, that could be because of Joey, or it could be because of his mother, or it could be a combination of both of them.
And to be clear, while this is another city, he's not staying there to work. From my understanding, this is a typical work shift, a place that they would drive to work. I believe I found it when I was reviewing all the information, but I don't seem to have it here in my notes what the name of the employer was. But it was located in Franklin, Kentucky. And right? With that phone call, that very lengthy phone call with her father, she does mention that Joey's at work in Franklin, Kentucky. He's on his way home, and we're going to go on a picnic, and we're going to talk this through. We're going to talk about it and see what happens. And that kind of leaves, for Jennifer's dad anyway, that's going to leave a big matzo ball out there, because I don't think that Jennifer's telling him that we're going to be able to work it out. I don't think she's telling him that, oh, it's over between us. The statement is we're going on a picnic and we're going to talk about it.
I want to thank everybody so much for joining us here in the garage each and every week. Thanks for telling your mother. Thanks for telling your brother. If you're a true crime nerd like us, then that means you need more true crime. And how can you get more true crime? Hey, how can you get more of True Crime Garage? Well, you can get our show off the record. How do you get the show? Well, you can go to our website, truecrimegarage.com, and click on the links to Patreon or Apple Podcast subscription. Or if you listen on the Apple Podcast app, just hit subscribe. And there you go. You got hours and hours of extra True Crime Garage. You get to join us in the garage. And sometimes we're joined by very special guests. And on Sunday, we released an episode where we talk about John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer from Chicago. And we talk with Karen Conti. Karen Conti is a lawyer, a true crime radio host, and an author. She wrote a book called Killing Time with John Wayne Gacy and her experience with John Wayne Gacy. So you want to check that out on Patreon or Apple Podcast subscription. It's truly the best way to support the garage, and you get more true crime in return. So much more to get to in part 2. Stick around, same bat times, same bat channel. And until then,
be good, be kind, and don't leave.
One sweet, melty bite of a Hershey's bar, and suddenly I'm right back sitting on the front porch with my grandmother on a slow summer afternoon. She doesn't say much, just breaks the bar in half and hands me a piece. I open my mouth to say whatever a 9-year-old wants to say, and she replies with a low, shh, listen. So we sat there, listening. That was the first time I learned that quiet can feel full.
Hershey's, it's your happy place.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. Let their story unfold and gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. Hire skills first. Learn why at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.